The psyche, has its own intentionality. It's omnipresent and it's commenting. And it comments in terms of our feeling function. You don't choose your feelings. Feelings are autonomous responses to what has happened. You can repress them, suppress them, anesthetize them, project them onto others, but you are, in the end, a creature that has an autonomous feeling response. Secondly, we have energy systems. If I'm doing what's right for me, the energy's there. The flow is there. We can mobilize our energy, and we have to in life, to get up and feed the baby at 2 a.m. or put in our 40-hour week or whatever the requirements are. But over time, forcing the energy system leads, as we know, to boredom and burnout and ultimately depression, often with self-medication attached to that. Thirdly, we have dreams, which comment. Fourthly, most importantly, is the question of meaning. If what we're doing is meaningful, as understood by the psyche, it will support us, even in the face of suffering and sacrifice and so forth. If what we're doing is wrong, as seen by the psyche, then over time it begins to pathologize. So you take that word psychopathology, literally from the Greek it means the expression of the suffering of the soul, which I think is revelatory, the expression of the suffering of the soul. Now, that seems to me obligatory to take seriously. If my soul, and again, that's a metaphor, people look for the soul throughout history, and you can't find it in the pineal gland, for example. No. The soul's a metaphor for the organic wisdom of that natural being that we are. The soul is a metaphor for this purposeful expression of the organism. It is purposeful. In other words, a question that occupies all of us in childhood and throughout the first half of life at least, if not an entire lifetime, is what does the world want of me? What do my parents want from me? What do my school teacher want me? What do the playmates expect of me? What does the partner want from me? What does the employer want? All of these are reality-based encounters with the demands of the environment. And part of what we have to do is develop enough ego strength to create a provisional sense of self and a provisional functional self to deal with those expectations. But then when you've done that, why are you still here? What's the purpose? Are you simply here to be a creature of adaptations? Now, without those adaptations, we would be overwhelmed typically by the circumstances of our lives, so we accommodate them in some way. But in the second half of life, and I'm using that term very loosely, the real question is, what does the soul want of me? What does the psyche want of me? And that's a different question. And then the issue comes up, what is it that is wishing expression in the world through me? That's a different question than what does the world ask of me. The people that we would most admire in history are people who in some way found and lived out what the soul was asking of them. It didn't spare them from suffering, sometimes even martyrdom. It doesn't spare you from conflict and pain, maybe isolation, maybe exile, but you're fed by the purposefulness of it. Take that away and life is pretty empty. And of course, we live in a culture where there's this enormous barrage of external stimuli. Well, buy this, purchase that, do this or that, the latest thing and this or that, the newest shiny thing. And the more I'm seeking to define myself through that environmental summons, the more likely I'm going to be estranged from something inside. All of us know it, but we don't know what to do about that at some level. And typically, it has to hurt enough inside to bring a person into therapy. People don't just walk in and say, well, I was in the neighborhood, and I thought I'd pop in and talk to a total stranger, pay him some money, and then, walk out as a different person. It doesn't work that way.